You are connected to Ace TJ 5G. Ace TJ Riggins, Alexis, Tech D-Rob. Live from the Calatrend Studios, this is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
It's today Wednesday, Wednesday. Okay, well then that explains why I'm dragging. I've been dragging this wagon around here. I'm always the most energetic during the week on Thursdays. During the show Thursday. Monday I'm still worn out from the weekend. Tuesday I'm concentrating on getting some tacos. And
Tacos.
The Wednesday is the middle of the week, so then I'm really dragging. But then Thursday I get a little boost of energy. And then I stay up a little later on Thursday night, so Friday I'm just gone.
Dragging.
So I got one good day. One good day in me. Alexis, we're glad you're back.
Thank you.
Little head on the desk. That's what it looks like in the video.
Oh.
Your head sitting on the table.
We've got to fix that. It would take 5 minutes to fix that.
We may have to
We've got to
forego. We may have to forego the Ace and TJ sign in the behind y'all.
No,
we may have to move that somewhere else, or just not have to have it in the shot.
I'm going to fix it.
Ace has the answer.
I'm going to fix it. Y'all are driving me crazy. I'll fix it. I should have already handled it. All we got to do, all you have to do is raise. Here's what it is. It's a computer that's sitting on a little adjustable stand. If that thing were raised, it would allow you to then tilt the camera shot back down a little bit, still get that in, and see more of Alexis.
Up and tilt.
Yeah, up and tilt, essentially.
You think you got your degree? You think you know everything?
I could be wrong, but what do you say?
All right.
Let's try it.
Do it. Let's do it.
We'll do it.
I got no beef with that.
Does that color of the neon moon behind y'all, does it change?
Yeah.
You can make different colors of that.
Oh,
huh?
I didn't know it changes.
Yeah.
So the red HTJ TV sign.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. Leave it on blink.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. But I thought it would go purple.
Yeah, I think it does.
Whatever.
I just got to find the right button.
It flashes at different speeds. That's entertaining.
The remote is made in China, so that it's not very descriptive of what the China.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So every time you hit it, you're probably putting communist
I'm sure.
lasers out into the room.
Communist laser.
Yeah, communist lasers.
Communist lasers.
Yep. It's coming out everywhere.
I don't know.
All right. It's fine.
We'll figure it out. Let's see what's trending again.
It's not the news, it's more important. Now trending with Riggins on the Ace and TJ show.
Okay, so a couple things to get to today. This story about Jamie Foxx, it hasn't gotten a lot of coverage, but he's still in the hospital 3 weeks later after some people called it a stroke. I've seen it described as a medical incident, but he is still in the hospital. He was on set filming a movie. And they've been using a stunt double in place of him since he's been there.
I don't know how they kept it so quiet in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's the part that fascinates me. In a day and age when everything gets out immediately, somehow they managed to keep that very, very quiet because you didn't know anything about it until it was a week after it happened, I think, before his daughter, I think, was the first one that I saw that made a statement.
Yeah.
But it did happen on the set.
Yes.
And they managed to keep it completely quiet until his daughter said something, which is good for. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's a good thing that they managed to let them control that narrative the entire time.
But even since then, it has not gotten a lot of coverage, and a lot of people have speculations about why.
You think something is sinister, Riggins, that he's in the hospital for some reason that they don't want people to know, like he was doing something that he doesn't want people to know what he was doing that caused him to have to be in the hospital.
I've seen people attributing it to the vaccination stuff. I don't know. Obviously, conspiracy theory, but he's one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, and it just hasn't been talked about a lot.
True, you're right.
But I mean, it may go without saying at this point, but I'm glad I didn't have that vaccine.
I was waiting on him. So praying for Jamie Foxx. Obviously, he's a great actor. Very funny.
I like Jamie Foxx a lot.
It's great. He's great in everything. Then this story kind of broke yesterday. Kevin Costner, his wife has filed for divorce. They've been married for 18 years. and irreconcilable differences. They do have a prenup in place, which is good because I think Kevin Costner, I looked it up this morning, it said he was worth $250 million. So they got a prenup. They got 3 kids together. Sad situation. Young kids, 15, 12, and 8 or something. But now he's got $250 million. He's got this ranch in Aspen that they cover all the time on like 60 Minutes. Looks incredible. If I got $250 million, see ya, kids. See ya, wife. I'll catch you on the flip side. Spin wheels, kick rocks. I'll see you at Christmas.
You're just going to run away from your kids?
I got a ranch in Colorado in Aspen.
Yeah, and they're going for joint custody, so he actually wants more of his kids than
Riggins would.
I was gonna say than almost anybody in that situation.
I think that's great.
No, I'm kidding.
It's a beautiful thing.
Uh-huh.
But you know what else is beautiful? $250 million.
But how old are they again? 15?
12, and then there's the youngest one, I'm not sure.
And how old is he?
He's got to be close to 60.
No, he's way over 60.
He's probably closer to 70, yeah.
I started late.
Uh-huh.
He's 68.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
And now, does he have other children, like from other marriages and stuff?
Said he had a previous marriage, but I don't know about kids.
Yeah, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think he's got 7 kids total. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oldest is 38.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so he's had his fill of kids. Yeah, go head out to the ranch, buddy.
Yeah. I'm sorry. His oldest, Annie, his daughter, is 39.
Oh, man, is she okay with all this?
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? And it says Grace, the 12-year-old, is the youngest.
Oh.
It's 12, 14, and 15 is what they have.
You hate to see it when kids are involved, you know. I don't know. I just feel like people say that. It's terrible, you know. And just remember, today is Nationally Specially Abled Pets Day. National Specially Abled Pets Day. It's a day that shines a spotlight on the needs of pets with disabilities. So there are people that specialize in giving dogs little wheelchairs, you know, the little things on the back.
I love those videos.
They got whole groups of them, and they all got wheelchairs. It's like, wow, you've really taken on a burden onto yourself with that. But it is a noble thing to do. Nationally Specially Abled Pets Day. Oofa. And those are a few things that are now trending.
Specially Abled Pets Day. It's even hard to say.
It is.
Specially abled.
Specially abled.
Okay.
It's not a disability.
Right. Because, you don't want to hurt the dog's feelings.
I think that's
by saying that they're disabled or whatever. So you got to give them a politically correct name.
Don't want the dog to feel bad.
Exactly. That's why we call old dogs senior dogs now, because we don't want to hurt their feelings.
There is something that you see every day, maybe more than once a day, because it is all over America. It's all over the world. It turns out it is a sinister plot. You see it every day. You take your kids to this place, and this place is X-rated. This is going to change the next time you drive. This will change everything about your drive. And are you being cheated if you order food online as opposed to in person? They've done a study, and this might change everything for you, too. Next.
Live from the Calitrin Studios. Find out more about Calitrin at acetj.com/weight loss. More of the Ace and TJ Show next. Available when you want it, how you want it. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
I tell you who's got the setup. Take D-Rob. Take D-Rob's Nerd News podcast, when it gets posted on our YouTube channel, looks so good.
Yeah, I know.
He sets it up at his house, and he's got all this cool stuff behind him that fits the Nerd News podcast perfectly.
It's amazing.
Yeah, if you had,
I think it's just his office.
It is. I didn't want to say that.
It's not a set.
I didn't mean it that way. Just like you know by looking at that screenshot. Oh, he's really into this. If you haven't checked it out, it's part of our YouTube channel, Ace TJ TV on YouTube, where today you get the Extra Funny podcast live at 9 Eastern, as you do every weekday. Plus all of our other great stuff that's up there, like this week's TJ and Jody's House. There'll be a new edition of the Meaningful Meeting tomorrow. There's new stuff every single day at our YouTube channel, Ace TJ TV, and don't forget 9 Eastern. You can watch today's edition of the Extra Funny podcast live on our YouTube channel, which you should check out.
And not only do you hear and see Rob delivering that nerd news, you also get to witness his tasting the microphone. I mean, that thing is just right up in his face right there. He got to make sure he's up in it. You know, he got a windscreen on it. That's something in the biz that keeps you from popping your peas and tapping your T's. But yeah, he's all up in it. He loved that microphone.
Yeah, I was so impressed by the way it looked. I didn't even realize what he was saying in the beginning. I was just like, man, that looks really good. Just looking at all the stuff behind him and everything.
And it's not a regular office chair. He's in a recliner.
You
at
damn
his
right.
desk, which is a bold. I've never seen that done before.
That's your automatic or automatic reclining chair that doesn't move very quickly, Rob?
Right. Yeah.
So when Meredith found the snake in the bathroom, she had to wait for that chair to go
Takes a minute, man.
for him to come back up. That's the same office that you have central air in your house, but you put the window unity in?
Yes.
Okay.
I turn it off when I record my podcast.
He's got like an 80-inch TV behind him, like as a second monitor. It's like this enormous TV.
It really is wild.
It's actually a fourth monitor.
Fourth monitor.
He's got 4 monitors and a separate air unit. So when he records, I guess the temperature in the house gets up to about 68 while he's recording his podcast.
Yeah, crazy.
So, okay. There's a theory making the rounds. It started in 2001 by a guy who wrote a book called Fast Food Nation, The Dark Side of the All-American Meal. And it's made its way to TikTok. And the theory is about McDonald's. And this is blowing up. And it seems to me to be one of the stupidest things ever because it's the type of thing that as a kid you made a joke about. And now people are treating it seriously.
So an author of the book Fast Food Nation has come out saying that the famous M for McDonald's is not actually an M as we're led to believe. There's actually a very X-rated meaning behind it. So according to this dude, the M is actually a pair of saggy boobs.
Yeah. If you flip it over. Well, of course, people have made that joke forever. And now this is being treated like it's some type of stark, fantastic discovery. Like, oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe this. Every 13-year-old boy has made that joke as long as there's been the McDonald's Golden Arches.
Yeah, that's right. It's the arches.
Yeah. But I promise you, you would not be able to, when you drive by them today, you're going to take a look and go, well, it's going to be something. Yeah, once you hear it, you're going to pay attention to it.
So who is this saying it? Did she say something about in this book?
Yeah, there's
nobody from McDonald's is saying it.
No.
This is dumb.
No, it's the theory was first presented in 2001 by this author named Eric Schlosser. But again, even then, it's a joke that's been made by 13-year-old boys forever.
It doesn't even look like that to me.
Me neither. I've never thought that, not once in my life.
Well,
looks
you've
like
never
an
been a
M.
13-year-old boy.
Well, I have, and I don't.
But people are reacting to this like, I can't believe it. Well, it's because it's not true.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of interesting. A software engineer from Chicago claims that he did some research and found that Sweet Green and Chipotle give you less food when you order their meals online. His name is Sean Grancy, and he wasn't hard to do. He used a scale and tested them.
I suspected that Sweet Green was ripping me off with my online orders, and with the help of a cheap kitchen scale, I was able to prove it. On average, I got 16% less food when I ordered online. So if you want a filling meal from Sweet Green, ditch your phone and order face-to-face.
Theory being, because you're not there watching, they scrimple a bit. 16% less food is a lot.
My daughter came in with a bowl the other night that she got from Chipotle. And she had ordered it online, and she came in, took the lid off of it. She goes, "Oh my God." She goes, look at the chicken in this. And I said, what? And she goes, "There's barely any chicken in it."
And she'd ordered that online?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying that that's proof that this is happening. You're getting ripped off, but yeah, it's a thing that people are seeing.
Yeah. And
that's why you can't be ordering online. I go sit down in the restaurant.
You hear a lot about AI and all this kind of stuff now, and I have long said, like, we're flirting with some dangerous stuff here. Here's an example. this TikToker shares her story of how AI, somebody used AI to mimic her brother's voice in an attempt to scam her grandfather. This is horrible. Check it out.
I've been crying for the past 2 hours because I thought my little brother was dead. Somebody out there used an AI machine to trick my grandpa into thinking my little brother got in a wreck and died. He mimicked my brother's voice and said, "Oh, I'm about to get in a wreck," and then the phone went off. My grandpa called me and told me this, and I immediately thought my brother was dead. And I come to find out that it was a scammer that was trying to get money from my grandpa by calling and saying that he went to jail and he killed someone and he needed bail money. They're using a freaking AI machine to reenact their voice.
So somehow they duplicate the voice, and the grandfather was totally fooled by it. Mm-hmm. In a scam to get money off of old people. And how would you know?
Yeah. Unless you call somebody, which I think is what happened. He ends up he calls the sister of the guy that supposedly died because he couldn't get a hold of the kid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sure it's a nerve-wracking situation. Isn't that terrible?
I just remember one time when I was a kid, I was in college, and I was gone with my dad to the drag races, and a guy got into an accident, and they called, and his name, with the exception of his middle initial, is the same as mine. His middle initial was J. Mine is A. They called my mom and asked if she knew where I was and and how I was doing. And she said, yeah, he's at the races with his father. And they said, well, there's been an accident here, and we've just taken him to the hospital. And she freaked out. And then they figured out through the course of conversation, I'm so sorry, wrong person.
Oh, God.
Now, she was terrified, and she talked about it to the day she died. Like, it never left her, like, what a scary moment that was. In that moment, when you don't know, I would be so easy to scam over something like that.
I'll note that.
This is the Ace and TJ Show.
So everything's going along fine. Maybe it's your first date, maybe it's your third date, who knows, but things are great. And then one sentence ruins everything. Next.
From the Calotrin Studios, this is the Ace and TJ Show. Find out more about Calotrin at acetj.com/weight loss. Anytime, anywhere, for your entertainment. This is the Ace and TJ radio show and podcast.
You know you want to get invited to the party. The new way to get invited to all the Ace and TJ events, plus win prizes with Ace and TJ rewards, is through Ace TJ Prime. That's kind of taking the place of our old Share Funny family because we've changed the names of a couple of things. So now there's Ace TJ Prime, and Prime Plus is our new paid subscription area that's got exclusive audio and video from the radio family just for the Prime Plus family. It's the only way to watch and listen to the Ace and TJ Show commercial free, and the only way to hear the final part of Extra Funny every single day. Plus, we're going to be adding a lot of new stuff, including TJ's political podcast is about to return to Prime Plus, and a weekly show in the evening by different cast members that's going to start up in the next week or so on Ace and TJ Prime Plus. So again, Prime and Prime Plus, sign up on our app or through acetj.com.
And that political show, the conservative show, is coming out blazing.
Ooh.
Like, getting trolling out of the way.
It doesn't matter when you're out with someone. It could be first date, could be second date. Everything's going along great. You know, something about it feels right. You like the person. There's an attraction, whatever. It feels good. And then they say one thing, just one thing, that ruins everything. Everything was great until they said blank. And nothing will ever be the same after that statement. Because essentially that ends the relationship. Now, I have never experienced this, and I think a lot of times guys will try to overlook. If they're attracted to somebody, they'll try to overlook it. And women necessarily shouldn't, depending on what it is the guy says. Has anybody ever had this happen? One thing that someone said, you're like, I'm no longer interested in this person.
So many times that I don't I mean, if I'd have had time to think about it overnight
Yeah.
or whatever, I could have come up with a whole list of it. But then that would have made me look bad. And,
Right, TJ.
You know, I can imagine that it would be something like, I love CNN or, you know, something along those days. But her, I think one time I was talking, well, we weren't dating, but I was, you know, flirting. And she said, have you saw something? And then, yeah. Like, have you saw this movie or whatever? No,
Well,
I haven't.
I posted this on our Facebook page last night, and there was a lady that said a guy told her about something. And he said, and he used the word "seen" incorrectly.
Oh,
I've seen it. She was like, "Never mind, moving on." Nothing was the same after that.
okay, so mine's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not so bad. Yeah, not so bad.
It's harsh though.
Or there's like this lady Donna that said, first and only date, we were sitting on a park bench after a nice walk through the park. He reaches over and pats me on the knee and says, quote, you know, you could stand to lose a couple pounds.
Yeah.
Should just care about his health.
The first date.
Can I be honest with you, Donna? That's messed up.
I lost interest in the guy because he said that I was racist because I said Hispanics were better dancers than black people.
Yeah, that was a good one.
There you go.
Because I was obviously kidding, and he took it serious and called me a racist.
Well,
And some of them to me make sense, like the guy saying you know you need to lose weight or whatever. But some are just interesting. Like Brittany said, everything was fine until he told me he went to see Magic Mike with another guy, and that she was like, over.
That's a good example.
yeah, that's a good one.
That's pretty weird.
He's like, done.
Yeah, what's that about?
So it's one sentence. Everything was fine until they said blank. We've got a bunch of these that are great at the Ace TJ Show. What's yours? We'll get to them next.
Don't miss the Extra Funny podcast coming up at 9 Eastern, live on the Ace and TJ app, or download anytime wherever you get podcasts. More Ace and TJ coming up. Here's what's new today from the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Extra Funny podcast, live 9 Eastern on our YouTube channel, Ace TJ TV. You can find it on our YouTube channel after that or everywhere you download podcasts. And the Ace TJ Baby Registry continues, acetj.com/baby. Our goal is to help Levine Children's Hospital and the Jeff Gordon Center with Levine's Children's Hospitals to provide for families in need while their kids are in the hospital or in the Levine Children's Hospital. So just go to acetj.com/baby. That's acetj.com/baby. It's an Amazon list. Click, 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 done. Takes no time. You decide how much you want to spend on stuff. It's not expensive stuff. It's not going to cost you hundreds of dollars, even $100, you know, or even $50 to help somebody out. But acetj.com/baby. Everything was great until they said blank. One sentence ruined the entire thing. Could be a relationship, could be a first date. I think the first date ones are more entertaining to me because it's a first date. You're supposed to be kind of playing it safe on a first date. But Whitney said it was going great until he said for me not to talk to the waiter, who was a very good-looking younger man. When I gave him the look like, what the heck, he said he didn't like his women talking to other men.
I love that.
Like, that's real. That really happened to somebody.
I don't like none of my women talking to another man.
Don't talk to him.
Call me old-fashioned.
Hey, why don't you run back there and see about that blooming onion? How about that's what you can do?
Like, that really happened to somebody. That still happens today.
You tell me what you want, and then I'll tell him.
Right.
You don't talk directly to him.
Keep me anonymous. This is a DM. Keep me anonymous. True story. I was on a first date and we were talking about being divorced. The conversation was going very well. We were having a great time. I asked him what happened in his marriage since I knew he and his wife when they were married. He said they got divorced because his son was caught fooling around with his wife's daughter, both kids from a previous marriage. I said, wow. And then he said, no big deal. They were just experimenting, but she made a big deal out of it. Needless to say, we never went out again.
Well, I mean, that's kind of harsh.
Now, one would argue they're not related.
They're not related, and he said, I don't know, you know, what are their ages? I don't know. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
not like
we need to know their ages.
Maybe.
You know, at the time of this experimentation.
Yeah, it's a weird story.
It's a weird story. Everything was going great until they said, Pam said, on our first and only date, he suddenly asked me about my yearly salary, saying he had to make sure that I could, quote, carry my part of the bills, end quote. She
Well, I
said,
mean,
do we have one bill, and that's for this meal? I'm paying. Goodbye.
Yeah.
better than asking her about her yearly, doctor visit.
Yeah.
Alexis, which would you rather? A guy on a first date ask you what your yearly salary is, or ask you about your yearly doctor visit?
Yeah, my salary.
Okay. See, it always could be worse.
Ashley said, very first date, apparently he'd bought himself a new truck. Mid-date, he's bragging about it, which is fine. And then he randomly says, quote, if this works out, I just might let you wash and drive my truck every now and then.
Not wash.
You got to earn it first. But
She said it was such a high school boy thing to say for someone who's almost 30 years old. Done. Moving on.
But it was a joke.
There's one here about
if you think it's funny.
Yeah, right.
There's one here about being a biker, and I don't want to get into that because I might say the wrong thing. A couple are very graphic that we're not able to share. God, there's one I want to share so bad about. I can't figure out a way to say it in any way that it would work. Linda said, I had been out with a guy a couple of times, really felt no romantic connection. Then one evening he was at my house for dinner, and suddenly he just said, when are you going to show me that bedroom?
I'm ready for the tour.
Yeah.
Casanova.
That's funny.
When you going to show me that bedroom?
Yeah, I like the rest of your house here.
Yeah.
I ain't seen it all though. When you gonna show me that bedroom? When we gonna mate? That's what I'm trying to say.
Everything was great until he said, quote, my mother will always live with me. End quote.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Maybe in his heart. Maybe he meant in his heart.
I meant in my heart.
and Holland said,
Oh, my God.
everything was great until he said, and it got a setup. He told me he had this picture in his wallet that I saw was of his niece and nephew. Then about 30 minutes later, he said, quote, remember that picture? Those are actually my kids, end quote. When you lie about your children to somebody right off the bat,
He came clean right after. Just got nervous. Didn't want to scare her off. It's like getting a squirrel to eat out of your hand.
No sudden movement.
That is bad, though. That's my niece and nephew.
that's like dating is like getting a squirrel to eat out of your hand.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This kid's like 20.
I still think my favorite might be you gonna show me that bedroom.
That's classic.
Hey, I appreciate the tour, but you left something out, didn't you?
This is the Ace and TJ Show.
Holy cow. Yeah, that's classic. We'll do Now Trending coming up next.
Live on your radio and anytime you want us, wherever you get podcasts. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show. It's more than regular funny. It's extra funny. The Extra Funny podcast is live every weekday at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Ace and TJ app and available anytime where you get podcasts. Now, more Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Yeah. When the morning is flying by, is it not? Wow.
What happens when you get air conditioning, man?
I know, man. I've been rejuvenated up in here.
It feels so much better. You're so much more excited to be here when it's
Yeah.
cool.
It's not the news, it's more important. Now trending with Riggins on the Ace and TJ show.
Happy National Garden Meditation Day to everybody. So just
I love that.
Go meditate in the garden. I knew you would, Alexis. That's
Yeah.
why I brought it up. I figured you would be the most likely person to meditate in a garden.
Anytime somebody says something about a garden, I automatically picture a vegetable garden. Like you can go sit out in the middle of a field in the dirt around, a bunch of tomato plants.
I would do it around peppers.
So do I.
Jalapeno peppers.
But they mean a flower garden or a butterfly garden. That
Plants
kind
and
of stuff.
flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, TJ. Immediately, I picture like a little rectangular area in somebody's backyard.
Growing maters.
That's right.
Maters.
Got cucumbers and tomatoes.
Nothing wrong with that. Is this video of Sean Payton smoking the bong real? Have you guys seen that? He's the new head coach of
I've not seen it.
the
Denver.
Broncos.
Yeah.
But he was formerly of the New Orleans Saints. And now he's in Denver. And there's this video going viral for a couple of days now. And I just thought to bring it up of him smoking, like taking a huge rip off a bong.
But they're
and
not-
people are like, he's enjoying Denver.
Yeah, they're not like drug testing for weed anymore in the NFL, are they?
I don't know.
I think they do. Yeah.
I thought that changed recently.
Maybe. I don't know. But they don't drug test the coaches.
No. I don't
Yeah,
think
so it shouldn't matter.
Definitely looks like him. So there seems to be, for the last couple of days, he's been trending. I was just curious. I know you guys like him.
Yeah, he cool.
Yeah. So Rob Lowe is trending this morning because he was spotted yesterday in Hollywood in front of the Paramount Studios. If you didn't know, beginning yesterday, there's a Hollywood writers' strike happening. So they're all out on the picket line in front of these major studio offices, and Rob Lowe is out there supporting the writers' strike. So people say, "Oh, this is just another example of Rob Lowe being a great guy." But I mean, I guess Paramount or whoever they were in front of, they're like, "We don't like that. We're not so crazy about Rob Lowe right now." But he's handsome, even on that
Very
pickup
handsome.
line. I mean, picket line. He looks good.
Yeah.
God bless him.
But do any of the what we would call in the business the talent, the on-camera people and all, do they ever offer to give up some of their salary to help get the writers or whatever what they need?
I don't know.
Or is it just showing up out there one day on the picket line or bringing donuts or something? We're with you. I mean, do they do anything to help?
But
Get get that taken care of? Because
I don't know, but it's not on a show-by-show basis, right?
No.
So like
the
if
guilt.
one guy says, "I'm willing to give up $5 million a year to help the writers out," that makes no difference because this is their what do you call it? Their union contract. So
Well-
it's an across the board. They would all have to do it, I guess.
yeah,
They immediately take up the argument. Well, I'm just an employee like they are. I mean, we're all employed by NBC
Yep.
or whatever. It's not my thing, but I've heard that people on Jimmy Fallon's show are really upset with him because he wasn't in some sort of meeting where they were talking about not getting paid for the week, and that he's trending this morning. But it's hard to make a story about Jimmy Fallon being a bad guy because he's so beloved and people. He seems like such a nice person.
yeah. That's what I was asking. What the ones who are really owe the writers, a lot of their success. What they could actually do.
Yeah.
And again, it becomes way more convoluted when you're dealing with everybody being the same in a group than when you're dealing with individuals. But Jimmy Fallon is basically the only one at this point, I think, of those late night hosts that could actually run a show without writers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the ability to do it. Those other ones, like Stephen Colbert, is not. He's not funny one bit if somebody's not writing it on the screen for him. I'm sure on the teleprompter.
Yeah.
We interviewed him. He was a dud, and this was way back before he got all political and everything. I mean, we were excited because he was on the Daily Show and he was funny and all. Dud. Complete dud.
You got Steve Colbert instead of Stephen Colbert, unfortunately. But those are a few things that are now trending.
All right, Mama's shortcuts. There's a lady who is being roasted on the social medias because of something she gave as a life hack for moms that she does to help her, handle all of the hustle and bustle of the kids going to school every day. Her little life hack ended up getting her criticized. So we'll see what your mom had in common with this lady coming up next.
It's radio. It's a podcast. It's the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show. More next. Is the Ace and TJ radio show and podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Ace TJ Prime and Ace TJ Prime Plus. Very excited about this. And you should go get signed up for it. Now, if you are a member of the Share Funny family, then you need to get signed up for sure for Ace TJ Prime. That's how you get the invitations to our live events and things like that. That's free, along with all kinds of other ways to get prizes and rewards and all of that kind of thing. Then Ace and TJ Prime Plus is a subscription, a low subscription cost for extra content, all of our podcasts being posted commercial free. Hopefully by the end of the week, there will be the first installment of the political show that I'll be doing. All kinds of things. It's wonderful, wonderful stuff. So go to our social medias or acetj.com to get signed up for those. There's a mom on the social medias who posted something as a life hack to help other parents. And what she does with her kids is that she will basically, without getting into too many of the details of the story that we don't need, she makes her kids lunches 5 weeks ahead of time, like for 5 weeks at a time, and puts it in the freezer. Like she'll make a sandwich, however many that would be, 5 times 5, that's about what, 25?
Almost, yeah.
Around 25. And she'll put that in the freezer. So when she's getting ready for the kids' lunch every day at night, she'll take it out and let it thaw. And by the time they get to school, it's ready to eat. So people are saying, this is not right. You shouldn't be doing, these kids need fresh food and all of that.
A 5-week-old sandwich
It's in the freezer.
Yeah, but it's been in the freezer. But the thing is that even when it defrosts, it's not the same. It's not the same.
That is true, but it's not the worst. I mean, it's frozen. You thaw it out. It's a sandwich. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem
Did y'all
like the
ever
worst thing in the
freeze
world.
bread?
Yeah.
Like just put a loaf of bread in the freezer and then get it out later?
Yeah, it's not like coming off the store shelf.
Yeah.
And it's not that fresh.
We used to do that because my dad was in the military and we shopped, got groceries at the commissary on the base. And the base was an hour away. So to my small town family, an hour's drive is just grueling. You get the oil changed in the car before you make that drive. So my mom would go to the commissary maybe once a month and just stock up on a month's worth of groceries because it was so much cheaper, and didn't want to have Lord knows you wouldn't make that drive more than once a month to go get groceries. And so she would get several gallons of milk and put it in the freezer, deep freeze, and same with bread and all that. But it never was the same. So that's what the people are saying here. Did y'all freeze stuff, Ace?
No, we never did that. Never really froze milk or bread or anything like that.
How many kids does she have?
I don't know.
If she's got a lot of kids, I understand trying to cut corners and find a way to make your life more manageable. If you got a ton of kids, you got to figure out ways to make it work.
5 weeks is just ridiculous.
You think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're going to freeze a sandwich for 5 weeks and then give it to the kid. Come on, there's a better way to do that.
Yeah. Well, as you said, Riggins, it's not the worst thing. It's not the best thing, but it's not the worst thing. Who could come up with something better than that your mom did to cut corners? Take a shortcut here or there.
Somebody's going to blow that out of the water.
Like if your mom wouldn't let you sharpen your pencil in a pencil sharpener because it made the pencil go away too fast and it was expensive. You had to sharpen it with a knife just to barely break through to get the lead where it's showing.
Well, I would say that my mom making me wear a uniform to school when the uniform wasn't needed was cutting corners, because that way she didn't have to buy me clothes.
Right, and it was a shortcut because she didn't even have to worry about it. After she got the clothes made, that's just what you were going to wear, and you didn't have to go to the store. So how did your mom take a shortcut? What was the shortcut that Mama took? Not necessarily things that she did to cut costs, but like this lady, she's not talking about saving money. She's cutting time. She's taking a shortcut to, getting your lunch ready for school. And the shortcut is affecting the kid, not her, because the kid's having to eat a sandwich with hard crust.
And it's frozen. That bread's soggy when it thaws out. Come on.
I mean, I'm more worried about the Doritos and stuff when those things thaw out. Those things cannot be good.
All right, so what do you got? Send us a DM or a comment on the front page of our social medias at the Ace TJ Show. Mama's Shortcuts.
Share Funny is now a little extra. The Extra Funny podcast coming up at 9 a.m. live on the Ace and TJ app and anytime wherever you get podcasts. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show. Share Funny is now a little bit extra. Don't miss the Extra Funny podcast live every weekday on the Ace and TJ app or anytime wherever you get podcasts. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Well, I did it again. We were recording commercials and things, and I wasn't checking the responses.
Oh, there's some
to the questions, so I haven't proofread any of them. So we'll just throw that away and go to the next thing.
Next.
No, were there any good responses to what Mama's shortcuts were?
One guy said, my mom worked for the DHEC, Department of Health, and I don't know what the EC part is. Anyway. He said, my mom would bring home vaccines to give us instead of making us an appointment with the doctor.
Bring the shots
That's
home?
cool.
So she just got the shots at work for free, just would bring them home?
Well,
Yeah, and she knew how to do it.
There's no way you're supposed to do that.
That's got to be highly illegal, right?
I would imagine.
Yep.
Yeah. You're not really supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think maybe there's not a rule against it, written.
Samantha said her mom would make she and her sister share bath water. She would take a bath, and then her sister would get in the same bath water. Mom said it was to save on the water bill so she could buy more groceries to last until her dad came off the road because he was a truck driver. But in reality, Mom probably didn't want to deal with draining the tub, refilling the tub.
Yeah, probably.
No need to start the process all over. We got some water here. Let's keep it going. Let's keep this train moving, man. We got things to do.
Yeah, there was a family in my neighborhood who, several people in the family, and they would just take turns in the bath water. It's your turn.
Yeah, I mean.
Ew.
Yeah.
And
Unless they were like super dirty. But I don't see. I mean, they're kids. Who cares? Rinse them off. Send them to bed.
I think keeping them clean is one of the most important things you can do. To help keep the kids clean.
You don't think it's? I mean,
using
the same bath water?
It depends on how dirty they are. You
Yeah.
made a good point.
yeah, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't
They're
want to
sitting
do
there
that.
with their
Yeah.
little-
If you don't have to, like my grandfather growing
Big
up
butts.
had to. That was the deal. They didn't. It wasn't a bathtub. They just had like a tub of water. And they were real
over a
poor.
fire.
Yeah, that kind of thing. They wasn't even over a fire. It was just,
It was in a barrel.
yeah. So Jen said, my friend's mom would just sprinkle the orange powder from the Kraft mac and cheese on the cooked noodles rather than mixing it with milk and butter.
I've done that.
Is that a time saver?
No, but if you don't want to buy milk and butter, yeah, you just keep a little bit of the water in there, add the cheese in. I mean, it's not as good as.
Well, it's the way the microwave kind works.
Yeah.
You're supposed to, leave a little of the water in there, and then you just mix the powder with it, and it tastes the same.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so that kid's mom was onto something.
Could have been
ahead of her time. Yeah, but I don't know that my mom took any shortcuts like that. Unless it was I'm taking a shortcut and not cooking dinner.
Yeah,
that happened at times.
That's a hell of a shortcut.
Fend for yourselves. That's where that came from. Fend for yourselves.
As shortcuts go.
Yeah.
Hey, kids, I'm not cooking dinner.
But it wasn't like the original lady where she's doing the kids' lunches 5 weeks in advance and putting them in the freezer.
Yeah. See, that's just planning. I mean, I don't even think that's taking a shortcut.
See, my mom was a meticulous planner. She knew when she went to the grocery store, this is what we're having for dinner all throughout the week, and everything was worked out. And she knew everything, and her day was pretty well planned. When she got home from school, she got to do this, pick this up, that kind of stuff. But preparing meals 5 weeks in advance, you're spending so much time doing that. You're not really saving yourself any time, are you? Because during if you divided that up over 5 weeks and planned them a week in advance, they'd be a lot fresher. Yeah, be better for the kids, and you'd have more time.
A week in the freezer is the same as 5 weeks in the freezer, I think.
Well, that's a valid point.
Once it's frozen, it's frozen.
Yeah, meal prepping is a big thing. I mean, I kind of look at it like that. It's like meal prepping.
Giving your kid a 5-week frozen sandwich is going to be all soggy and gross. I'd have such an aversion to soggy bread. Maybe that's part of the problem.
Oh, yeah. I do too. You ever put a sandwich in an ice chest with ice, and then even though it's in the plastic bag and all, it still gets a little soggy sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I double them up. To make sure that
I think about every field trip we had as a kid. You take that sandwich out, and typically it'd be like, oh, these sandwiches got they're damp.
Yeah, because they didn't use the zipper bags. They did those where you fold it over and spin it to close it up.
Real tight.
They were cheap.
Yeah, right.
Man, this sandwich is damp.
Ugh.
Yeah, what am I, a fish? I'm not eating wet bread.
This is the Ace and TJ Show.
If you're planning on getting married anytime soon, you're planning a wedding, there are new rules that you must follow. I don't know who came up with the rules and why they're the authority on it, but there are some new things that are in and out for weddings. So if you don't want to be, out of fashion, as they say, then you'll want to hear this list coming up next.
From the Calotren Studios, this is the Ace and TJ Show. Find out more about Calotren at acetj.com/weight loss. This is the Ace and TJ radio show and podcast from the Calotren Studios. Lose weight the safe and effective way with Calotren. Go to acetj.com/weight loss to get details. Now, Ace and TJ.
All right. You don't ever know who gives these people the authority that they claim to have, where they make the rules for fashion and what's in and what's out and all. But it's just kind of fun to go over here. And then a lot of people will be like drones and just follow this because somebody said it, and they go, oh, well, that must be it. That must be the thing. So it's wedding rules for 2023. Number 1, no more engagement parties. That's out of style. Number 2, no outdoor summer weddings. Number 3, your closest friends, not you, should control the guest list. What?
Why? Okay.
No kids. If kids are needed for the ceremony, a car should be waiting to take them away whenever they're finished with the ceremony. That's what they say. If you travel from out of town, you don't need to get the couple a gift. Actually, all gifts should be banned. Yeah, I see brides going for that. But define out of town.
Longer than an hour.
That means if I go to a wedding in Charlotte when I live in Mooresville, North Carolina, I can say, hey, we traveled from out of town. We don't owe you a damn thing for a gift. No way. It's fine for someone else to wear white. Give us a good kiss, pervs. Like, you want people up there making out? Posed photos are over, is one of the other rules. Simplify the menu. Just make your vegetarian option vegan. Shut up. If I'm at a wedding with a vegan, I'm in the wrong place. I done gone to the wrong ballroom.
Who's a vegan?
Speeches. This says speeches must be pre-written, but there's no such thing as pre-written. It's either written or it's not. So the speeches should be written. And dancing is mandatory for everyone able.
Mandatory?
Mandatory. If you are able to dance, if you are not disabled, then you are forced to dance.
I don't even.
Get up.
That's funny.
Grandma, get up.
And
Put the kids in the car and send them home, and everybody's got to dance. It's crazy.
And the one that stood out to me was no one has to walk the bride down the aisle.
Oh, that's sad. That's
But you know why?
yeah, of course I know why.
Why?
Because fathers are being eliminated from the nuclear family.
Yeah. Or they've eliminated
destruction.
themselves.
Absolutely.
I was gonna
They're
say.
running out on
Yeah.
their responsibilities and stuff. Yeah.
They ex-nayed
that's
themselves.
terrible.
I
hate
think
that.
the official sociology term for it is they ain't got no daddy.
It's sad.
I'm so afraid. How can I go home with you gone this way? That's about it. The dad dying, but
Yeah.
we talking about dad saying, I'm not coming to that
Yeah.
wedding.
You
I
talking
don't
about
even know. I don't even know you or your mama.
Talking about a dad that was just dying to get out of there.
Everything that I do is because of you. To keep you safe with me. That's my job, you see. I knew you.
This is
you
Rick's
would be
favorite thing
I
in the
know.
history of the show is this.
I know. That's why I had to do it.
Now Trinity coming up next.
Live from the Calitrin Studios. Find out more about Calitrin at acetj.com/weight loss. More of the Ace and TJ Show next.
We have had some technical problems.
Hit it! You are connected to Ace TJ 5G. Ace TJ Riggins Alexis Tech D-Rob. Live from the Calitrin Studios, this is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
But what about people who don't listen live? They listen later. I mean, we're completely marginalizing them. Those are the marginalized, the ones who we make a point to say you weren't here when it was live, so you're missing out.
It's a guilt trip.
Oh my God, I hate to trigger people.
It's not the news, it's more important. Now trending with Riggins on the Ace and TJ Show.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning.
All eyes on you.
Yeah, I guess so. Ed Sheeran's been in court all week. You've seen the pictures. He's defending himself against some, the estate that runs a lot of Marvin Gaye's music is suing him over the song "Let's Get It On," saying it sounds like what's the song that Ed Sheeran did?
Thinking Out
Thinking out
Loud.
loud, yeah.
And Ed's lawyer says if Ed loses this case, he's done with music. He's no longer going to be performing or creating music. It's that insulting. So, I don't know. A lot of people put the songs side by side. This has been going on for a long time. It's not the first time Ed Sheeran's been sued for allegedly stealing somebody else's music, but I don't really see. It's a typical pop progression. I don't see super similarities to it.
The choruses are different. There's a similar chord progression in there, but that's not enough for you to say, oh, he stole it.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
People do that all the time.
Yeah, it's like all pop music. So,
Because, there's only so much you're working with there.
yeah. Ed's lawyer and Ed said through his lawyer that I've worked really hard to get where I am at, and I believe that he does work hard.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Tours a lot.
Yeah, and he has to work harder than other musicians because his guitar is so tiny.
It's a little tiny guitar.
It can't do as much work and as much time and all as a regular size guitar.
That's right.
And as one, remember, being a ginger, not helping him any.
You think this is some sort of attack because
It's
he's
like a ginger bias.
It's a ginger bias.
Yeah, they think he's going to be weak because he's a ginger, but Ed's going to fight back.
I love that. I have not heard that on the news about it, but yeah, you should run with that. Like, this is about ginger people. Stand up for ginger people.
It's ginger
Breaking
bias.
news. I love it.
Yeah, ginger prejudice is what it is.
You know what he ought to do? If he wants Marvin Gaye's estate to really feel a little bit of a sting, he should just go to every microphone and every camera that he can get in front of and just start saying the most vile, vicious things about Marvin Gaye.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that going to help him?
Well, Marvin Gaye can't sue him, so he can go say whatever he wants about a dead person.
It's true.
And just say, all right, y'all want to mess with me? All right. Wait till I get in front of that camera today what I say about your dearly beloved relative.
I'm letting it all out today. I'm going on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
I'm going to say some really harsh things. Mm-hmm. That's a good idea. Is Marvin Gaye's father still alive, the one that killed him?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
The one that killed him?
Yeah, his dad shot him. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, in a dispute. I think it was there was some sort of fighting between the mom and the father, and then Marvin was just in the house that I'm pretty sure he purchased, and his father killed him.
What?
Yeah, and he did. He owned the house or had bought it for them.
To hide all the people he had killed in the basement. See what I mean?
His own father shot him in the chest and killed him.
It can happen.
Just kidding. Marvin Gaye didn't do that. As far as I know, he was a fine fellow.
Yeah, sure.
But he, fornicator, yes. Because that's what he was singing about.
That's right. That is true.
That's what "Let's Get It On" means.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if Kevin Costner was a fornicator, but either way, his wife and he are divorcing after 18 years of marriage. Her name is Christine. They do have a prenup, but they said irreconcilable differences, and they got 3 kids together. But we found out earlier that
he has 7 kids total.
7 kids total. So thankfully, he's got a lot of money.
I think the oldest is 39, and the youngest is 12.
Yeah. Since he doesn't have a prenup, you know what that means about Kevin Costner? He ain't no punk.
He ain't no punk. Holla. We want prenup. Yeah. We want prenup. That's right.
We were just saying a minute ago, I said, I wonder if anyone has ever seen Kevin Costner belly laugh. Just uproariously, head thrown back, horse laugh. It just wouldn't look right, I don't think.
No.
Now, not to say that he's a grouchy butt all the time, but
he's brooding.
But he just doesn't seem like the type that would just bust out laughing.
He really doesn't.
You know, spit his drink across the room because somebody made him laugh.
Yeah. You're right. A chuckle at best.
You know who else I picture that being?
Who?
Nick Saban.
Yeah. That would be weird to see him.
And see him just like laughing hysterically.
Bill Belichick, also Nick Saban, and Kevin Costner. Those are all good. There's a woman, she's got a bunch of pets, but they're not dogs, they're not cats, they're not even birds. She's got a lot of pets in her house, and she knows she lives an unconventional lifestyle. I'm just curious if you have anything in common with this woman. Her name is Marie. We're going to find out coming up next.
It's a radio show, it's a podcast, and it's a TV show. Watch the Ace and TJ show anytime. Just search for Ace TJ TV on YouTube. More of the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show is coming up. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Putting on a lot of subscribers over there. Ace TJ TV. Got new content up all the time. Yesterday, the new episode of Nerd News was posted. Watch that. Very good, Rob. You know, he's very good on that show.
Oh, yeah.
He is good.
He opens up a lot, and he gives some good information. Like he said, here's 3 movies I watched. If you're going to spend money on one of them, well, go watch this one, not the other 2. But then gives a review of the other ones. It was very helpful. He does a good job on that.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of what he's talking about, but it's obvious that he's well prepared and intelligent when he comes to speaking on it.
That's what one guy said. He said, I really have no idea what Rob is ever saying, but he seems to be knowledgeable and he provides the information in an accessible way.
And like I said, I do miss the whole first part of it because I'm paying attention to what's happening behind him. The Funko Pops and all the different stuff that he's got back there. I get caught up in that for a minute, then I have to shake myself into paying attention to the nerd news.
It's nerd paradise in there. Yeah. It really is. Which is a perfect segue into what I want to talk about. There's a woman named Marie Bailey. She's 23. Her mom has arthritis. Still lives with her mom. So Marie said, I've always wanted a pet, but I was never a dog person, never a cat person. What about leeches? Leeches.
What do you mean, as pets?
As pets. She started getting 2 Asian buffalo leeches, which grow up to 8 inches long. They look like huge slugs. And obviously, leeches feed on blood. Mm-hmm. So she attaches the leeches that are her pets to her mother. They sit on there for 30 minutes or so. And she says, and the mother agrees with her, after about 30 minutes of that, she has more mobility in her hands and less knee pain.
But that's an ancient, medical procedure. They put leeches on things, suck out the poisons.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I'm sure, but do they still use leeches now in modern medicine?
I don't think so. I mean,
well, they should if it's helping.
I don't remember seeing it in my doctor's office anywhere.
Oh, they're ugly.
There was not an aquarium in there with the leeches.
Yeah. She says, I know it's unconventional, but if I feed the leeches on her fingers, the pain goes away for 3 to 4 months. Marie's mom, Louisa, was skeptical at the beginning, but after seeing her daughter feed them, she realized it wasn't an issue. And Marie said she's aware that most people find the animals unpalatable, but she thinks they're cute and hopes she can change the way people perceive them.
That's fantastic if it works.
Yeah.
They're not cute. I don't care what she says.
They're not cute.
Like, nobody can just have something freaky go on and accept it. They gotta say, "Well, we need people to change to the way I see things."
Leeches.
Just shut up.
So
Put the leeches on your mama and leave the rest of us alone.
Yeah. So what started as these 2 Asian buffalo leeches has now grown to a menagerie, 35 leeches she now has. She said it's a bit like owning fish. And I said, I beg to differ.
It's not at all like owning fish.
Yeah, I mean, fish are beautiful to watch. Yeah. I mean, aquarium, it's not my thing, but I know people put aquariums in there. It's relaxing to watch. I find it hard to believe it's nice to watch leeches roll around. Ugh, so gross. But it's unconventional, to say the least. What about your life is unconventional? Do you have pet leeches? Do you live with your ex-husband and his new, younger girlfriend? Are you surviving on a strict diet of Mellow Yellow and French fries? What is it? What about your life is unconventional? And we all have certain things I think are unconventional about our lives. Alexis, works on a food truck part-time. I mean, that's unconventional. She's got 2 jobs. Ace has a significantly younger wife. That's unconventional. TJ, what's unconventional about TJ? Nothing. You're pretty straight arrow. Mm-hmm. You're straight arrow. So what is it about you? At the Ace TJ Show. We'll find out coming up next.
Don't miss the Extra Funny podcast coming up at 9 Eastern, live on the Ace and TJ app, or download anytime wherever you get podcasts. More Ace and TJ coming up. There's a lot happening with the radio family. Here's what's new today from the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
I would argue that there's more happening behind the scenes when we're not on the radio than what's happening on the radio. We're having very in-depth conversations about the Cracker Barrel. But in case you didn't know, we do have Ace and TJ's baby registry happening. So if you want to contribute to 2 great causes, Levine Children's, and Jeff Gordon's center at Levine Children's, you can do so at acetj.com/baby. You just purchase some items from their Amazon wish list. Super easy. acetj.com/baby. We're talking about this woman. She's got 35 leeches as pets. She cuddles them and holds them out. Oh, it's so weird. But what about your life is unconventional? And we've got a couple answers on social media at the Ace TJ Show if you want to participate. What about your life is unconventional? Sabrina said, I had to tell my boss I was going to be late to work yesterday because my goat was in labor and having trouble. Dang, that is pretty. I mean, hey, I can't come in right now. My goat's having labor problems. Yikes. And I'm sure she probably had to get in there and
pull it out.
Get really involved in delivering the goat. Yeah. Yikes.
And baby goats are so popular right now.
So hot.
Yeah.
So hot. Mariah said, we had a big house, a dog, and a 6-month-old. So we sold the house, bought some land, and now we live in a camper on that land until our house is built. That's pretty unconventional. I would say so.
Yeah,
with a 6-month-old.
I've heard that before, though.
Yeah.
6 month. I mean, but it's tough timing. With a 6-month-old and you're living in a camper. Now I know they make like really nice campers and stuff, but for some reason I picture something very small. The way she said that.
It's a Breaking Bad kind of camper. Is that what you're picturing?
Kind of barely holding together.
Yeah, it all depends on how big the camper is.
Yeah, I mean,
because like that family we helped at Breaking and Entering Christmas, where it was the mom and the 2 kids. They lived in a camper. Yeah, that was tight. Like it was
tight fit.
It was camper tight.
Yeah, because then you have Will Smith's camper. You know, when he's on set of a movie, it's 3 stories and it expands on either side. It's got like a basketball court and a bowling alley in the bottom. It's crazy. Yeah, there's so many of these. There's a woman named Jess Kirby online. She's a content creator and social media influencer, but she's got some advice to people younger than her. She's 38, and a lot of people are going to roll their eyes when they hear this advice about how do you make your life better. Maybe you will too. We'll find out coming up next.
Live in the morning and anytime you want it as a podcast. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show. More next. An effective way to lose weight. Find out more about Calitrin at acetj.com/weight loss. This is the Ace and TJ radio show and podcast.
Go get signed up for Ace TJ Prime. It's totally free, and it's the way to get invited to our upcoming live events. I heard some numbers yesterday. There's a lot of y'all signed up for Ace TJ Prime in these first couple of days. acetj.com/prime. Or if you are a big fan of the Ace and TJ show, go sign up for Ace and TJ Prime Plus. It's our paid subscription tier where you get exclusive content plus commercial-free audio and video of the Ace and TJ show. acetj.com/prime. There's a woman named Jess Kirby, which is a cute name. Jess Kirby, love it.
I like the name Jess.
Jess is cute, and Kirby is the last. Love it. But she's a lifestyle blogger from Vermont. And why are you laughing already? There's nothing funny about that.
Yeah, Vermont.
She's got a couple of kids, and she does a variety of different things on social media. But she said that deleting Instagram from her phone has been life-changing, quote-unquote life-changing. She felt she needed to detox and now feels better than ever. Now she's got someone managing her social media for her, but she said, Instagram consumed my entire existence. I'd constantly be scrolling. Creating content came at the expense of my own life. When you have a business with Instagram, you look and think from the lens of content creation. It really forced me to realize how much I was doing that was unhealthy. And I thought, yeah, put your phone down. You're an adult, you're 30, you're almost 40, and you've got kids. Put your phone down. I don't know that this is jarring or life-altering for anybody else, but I don't see it that way. If you realize that you're on there an unhealthy amount, yeah, you're an adult. Put your phone down. You got kids. You got a whole responsibility. I don't know.
Yeah, so you don't think it should be something that you just like some kind of an epiphany that you got to pass on to everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, I was eating cheesesteaks every Friday for like 3 years, and then I realized like, oh my God, I'm enormous. I have to stop eating cheesesteaks. I didn't get and write a blog about it, like how unhealthy it was and how it was like eye-opening. No, duh. It's bread and it's steak and mayo. Like I know I'm going to get fat from that.
It wasn't really a eureka moment. You know?
I guess it's like you're 38. I don't know. I commend her for creating content and creating a business off of it, but also you're 38. I mean, my grandmother was 20 when she had my father, and my grandfather was in war at 19 or whatever it was. You're 38. Delete Instagram. And this is not complicated. I don't know.
Calitrin Studios. This is the Ace and TJ Show. Find out more about Calitrin at acetj.com/weight loss.